Hi, everyone. I want to welcome you to a new episode of the AM show. And today I have Zach, who was actually a contestant on NBC's Songland. I am so excited to have him here today. I don't want to butcher his last name, and so I want him to tell you exactly what his name is and all about his claim to fame with the TV show, but also his career after the show. So welcome to the AM show, Zach.
Thanks so much. It's Sorgan, by the way, but it wouldn't have mattered if you butchered it.
Well, the reason I wanted to have you on here is because the AM show, everyone thinks it's a morning show. And while it can be a morning show, it's actually for ambitious and motivated listeners and ambitious and motivated guests. So I knew that when you were on that show, you obviously had to go in there with some kind of, you have to be brave to go on those shows because you know that you're going to be exposed on national TV. And so I know that that takes a lot of ambition and motivation. Okay, there we go.
There you go.
Yeah, and so that's why I wanted to have you on the show. So I want you to tell everybody, what your career or what your life was like before you went onto the TV show Songland as a songwriter.
So I've been songwriting since I was maybe 10. I started taking piano lessons, but I was a terrible piano student. I did not like practicing the classical stuff. And my mom was trying to crack the whip, but I was like, I just want to make my own songs. So yeah, that was always kind of a hobby of mine. And then when I graduated college and I said, what do I really want to do with my life? Songwriting was the first thing that came to mind. So I moved to LA. Luckily, my sister lived here, so I had a couch to crash on for a few months. But it was a lot about just kind of meeting people and realizing that I didn't only have to write songs by myself. I could really collaborate with other people. And then I kind of got in the whole world and in the industry, and there was a kind of a community and started learning about it that way. And after maybe 2 years, got my first placement with a DJ, and then started working with some other artists, and I have my band. So I've been working on the songwriting for a while, and it's just cool that the NBC Songland show is finally showing a light on what we do behind the scenes.
Well, that's awesome. And so I want to dive a little bit deeper into what it is that you did in that phase before the TV show. So when you say that you were kind of out there networking and meeting up with other artists and other people in the business, what does that mean? Like, where would you go? What apps would you log into, or how did you know where you needed to be during the week?
That's a good question. And there really should be an app for songwriters. That would be super cool. Unfortunately, I don't know of one. It's all kind of like word of mouth. I think LA is really the center of collaborative songwriting, especially for the pop music industry, for like commercial music, radio music. I know New York and Nashville, like Nashville is huge for country, and then New York there's a lot of cool artists, like indie artists, but it's a little bit less collaborative is my impression. So yeah, I mean, I was actually just at a party and I was talking to a guy and I told him I'm a songwriter, and he said, oh, like there's a guy over there who I just talked to half an hour ago who said he was a songwriter, and I was like, please introduce me. So, putting yourself out there in that way, not being shy, just saying, hey, this is what I want to do. If there's someone else that's doing what I want to do, I want to talk to them. And that was actually my first songwriting friend in LA. We stayed up that night until 4 a.m, jamming on something for Akon, and I just had a blast. And luckily for me, that guy was already pretty connected. He had a manager and some other friends, so he just set me up. I forget whether it was on text or on email, but with his other friends, and he said, hey, you guys should do a session. And a session is it's like 4 to 6 hours, maybe up to 8 hours, and you get together and basically you're going to write a song. So if somebody comes in with a concept or a chord progression or a melody, that can be cool to be prepared, but otherwise you can kind of just spend the first hour talking about your lives and maybe listening to other music that inspires you, and then kind of honing in on a direction. And it can start with the music, or it can start with the lyric and the concept, but you kind of just like figure it out together. And then if somebody sings something, you say, oh yes, I like that, or let's keep trying. And most songs are broken down into like a verse, a pre-chorus, and a chorus.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a good melody, then you kind of think, this sounds like it's the pre-chorus because it's building tension, or this sounds like it's a real hook. This is what everyone's going to remember.